All right, welcome to episode 8. This is Alternative Fact Chicago. This is Bobby. I'm with my boy B-Hun.
We back again.
And we also have a special guest in the studio tonight.
Absolutely. I can't wait to introduce him here in a little bit.
All right, sounds good. So, B, we had an awesome weekend. We were part of the NBC Sports Radio show. You know, what were your thoughts? Tell our fans a little bit about like that whole experience.
It's been an awesome couple weeks. Things are jumping off fast for us. Our guy Dave Smith at NBC Sports Radio, reached out to us with an opportunity. We had about a 20-minute segment just on everything sports related from, Chicago sports to NBA finals. It was just a good time, a good experience, and just to get that exposure. We had a lot of people hit us up after that, and just to be on that type of platform, I think is awesome, man. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it was crazy. The funny thing about it was, I lost my voice going into that, and I was talking low. I was kind of struggling, but we made it through, and it sounded good. So I think it was just, Dave is such a good guy. He's been like a really just good mentor for us in regards to just kind of showing us the ropes around how we can better progress ourselves.
Absolutely.
So I think the opportunity was just amazing, and it was just cool just to chop it up with them.
For sure.
It didn't even feel like we're on the radio. It felt like we were talking to a friend.
Absolutely. And, he gives us tips all the time, reaches out to us, and we can bounce questions off of us. And, he's a good advocate to have. And, he mentioned that a lot of people that are on ESPN now, other platforms as well that are, getting big in the community, he definitely helped gives that advocate. Absolutely. So
he's a good dude.
I'm glad to have him. It was a great opportunity. That interview will be released this upcoming Friday. We will have it out to the public, I think, on YouTube. We'll have it posted. So we'll put it on Facebook. We'll have it on Twitter as well. So all of you can hear it and just kind of see the thoughts and feedback. So we appreciate it all.
Absolutely. And then we'll make sure to tweet it out on Facebook, etc.
For sure. What else did we do recently, man? We had a lot going on.
Also, we did the Royal Beans RoundTable discussion. So where, we were, it was us with another podcast.
For sure.
And we just basically spoke about just like the community, African Americans podcasting, our voices, the platform. And it was just such a good experience. Everyone was there, was awesome, just good vibes. I learned a lot about, a lot of the the other podcasters, there were 2 black women, so it was just cool just to just get a good perspective of just like the community, Chicago, what we can do in order to kind of make sure that our voices is heard, as well as just us building our brand and just helping people out. So it was a good experience. I'm happy that we did it.
That was a great experience. It was, I think we were about 2 hours we were there.
Yeah.
We had a cool co-host, firing questions at us and just about the city of Chicago, the art of podcasting, how the industry is going to improve, how we can make our mark, where we see ourselves in the next 3 to 5 years. It was great to just, bounce ideas off of each other for the culture, for the city, positives and negatives of the industry and how we can just help each other. So that segment will be, I think, condensed into like a 30-minute video, and they said that will be released, I think, sometime in July.
Yeah, sometime next month.
For sure. So shout out to Royal Beans, everyone represented there. We will be doing more work with them in the future. It was just an awesome experience. Definitely good people. So we thank you, and we can't wait for the next time as well, too. And before we get in our first topic, which, it's going to pain me to say, because I know Bobby's about to come at me.
I'm coming at your head top, man.
NBA Finals, it is over. Let's hear it, B. I know you're going to come at me. What do you got to say?
You lost the bet, and your sports knowledge is no longer respected around here. You put your life on the line. You were. I mean, if I ain't no better, I thought you was from Ohio.
What?
That's how hard you were repping the Cavaliers. You were repping for LeBron, and they ended up losing.
I did lose.
Like I said, they were going to. And once again, I'm not a bandwagon Golden State fan. I didn't even watch a game all last year up until the finals with the Warriors playing. And I mean, they're a mega team. They're a super team. And I told you didn't listen. You thought history was going to repeat itself. Wait until Game 3. Wait until Game 4. Something might change in Game 5. Nah, it's over. It's done. So you're gonna have to wait a whole year to see if you can win your reputation back, especially when it comes specifically for NBA talk. You got lucky with the Patriots, but this finals it was a huge chink in your armor.
Let it be known that many years Bobby has made bets with me on sports, and I always win. He picked Golden State
Patriots,
last year,
that's it.
And I picked Cleveland. He picked who the Patriots play. I don't remember. Oh, they played the Falcons in the Super Bowl.
I forgot about last year. Yeah.
And the Patriots came back then too, so he's
that
been
didn't
waiting.
count. That didn't count. The Cavaliers should have lost last year.
Okay.
I don't care what nobody say. That was a fluke.
He's been waiting to get me for a couple years now, and he finally did. I did pick Cleveland only because I did expect history to repeat itself. They had the team to do it, and it just didn't work out. LeBron, he recruited a lot of players that we thought could, fit in well, and for that moment to actually beat Golden State. And you know what? They just didn't show up. LeBron played as best as he could.
LeBron played. He was raw.
Kyrie played great. But, Kevin Durant, he was just a little too much. So shout out to Golden State. They did it. On wax, I will say that I was wrong. I've been getting killed on Facebook for the last maybe 48 hours over. I did pick Cleveland in 7, and I was wrong. But, hey, there's always next year. The question is now that I was wrong, who does Cleveland go get? Because now it's a chess move. I feel like it's going to be Golden State makes a move. Now Cleveland makes a chess move. Who do they get next to kind of combat this? Or else Golden State may win again next year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they will definitely need to trade Kevin Love. It's essentially what LeVar Ball brought up with what happened in UCLA, man. He doesn't have enough foot speed, man. He just doesn't have enough foot speed.
He's not the Minnesota Kevin Love of old.
No, man. He's just like a just big country, just slow big white kid. So he doesn't have the skill set needed, and then they're gonna have to get rid of Shump. Shump is trash.
Yeah, he played terrible. What happened to him?
He's dumpster juice, man.
Dumpster juice?
Yeah, he was bad. Darren Williams, he's washed. Get rid of him. Corver, I would say keep him. Just because he can still shoot, so you just move him around.
I like Corver,
but don't have him play major minutes. And honestly, I just think that if they bring in someone like a Paul George, or we were reading some articles today saying that Boogie Cousins possible landing
or Anthony
spot.
Davis possibly. I saw.
Yeah, so honestly, maybe. Well, we'll see, but I definitely think that they need a power forward that can just really be a defensive stopper, because and someone who can rebound. And Tristan Thompson, he's on the block too.
For sure. And I think what people forget is they traded for Andrew Bogut toward the trade deadline just for this moment. I know you shake your head over there. They actually got him for that moment, for the finals. If you think about it, Tristan Thompson, he didn't play that well. They got Bogut to be a backup center for that moment, and they didn't have one. Who was their backup? Like Channing Frye? He's terrible.
Yeah, no, he's washed.
He couldn't handle it at all.
But Bogut wasn't going to do anything either. They were destined to lose.
They could probably, but they could have helped a little bit.
So maybe Paul George, Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins. I mean, we'll see what they can leverage in a trade. I just know that LeBron, they're going to need to revamp. So I think everyone is on the trading block, but Kyrie and LeBron.
I don't think they will break up the team, because that will be detrimental to their franchise. I don't think that they would do that. They
why?
make
They
a
have
couple
LeBron.
of moves. They do, but I don't think they want to start over completely. If you think about it, they still score 110 plus points a game every game in the series. They just ran against a team that can score 120 plus points a game. So they don't need to do too much. Maybe make one or two big moves. Like you said, get rid of Shumpert. I think you keep J.R. Smith. If you can find something for Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love to get a better player, do that. But you do not need to break up the whole team. And they need to get tougher and get younger. Yeah. And I think they'll be okay. Otherwise, Golden State, they're going to win the next couple of years. Though.
Right. Yeah, and I did tell you that the Cavaliers that came into the playoffs, you remember, I think they finished in their final game, their final month, they were 500 or something. So they went in being, I think number 20 in defense. So that showed big time.
For sure.
Once they played a really good opponent. So, I mean, once again, they have a chance because the East is weak. And unless the Celtics somehow, draft someone who's going to just change the life of the franchise, which I don't see that in this draft. I mean, I still think that, they're going to be good, but the Cavaliers will still be a step ahead because they have LeBron. So we'll see.
I agree. I think Cleveland will, make the NBA Finals next year, because I don't think anyone in the East can do it. So it's on Cleveland's move. It's your move, Cleveland. It's going to be an interesting offseason to see. It wasn't the best playoffs, but like I said, congrats to Golden State.
Warriors in 6 next year.
In 6 next year, you're calling out. I won't bet you yet. Let's see how the offseason goes.
All right.
But first, before we cut into our awesome guest here that we have for today, we have a brand new sponsor. This segment of the show is brought to you by Seabreeze Building Services. managing and maintaining over 15 homeowner associations across the Chicagoland area. If you live in an HOA and you're looking for a new manager or a renovation company, go and check them out at seabreezebuildings.com. We will provide the link in the description after this episode. When we release it tomorrow on our SoundCloud and iTunes, you will see the description of the website and where you can go find them. Our guy, Chris, he's good people, so
I'm definitely going to use them.
That.
My lease is coming up soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not ready to buy a place yet. So
hit up Chris Seabree.
Yeah,
he's a good man.
All right, great.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get into our special guest here. He is the co-founder, editor-in-chief of High Fashion Living, Evan Marshall.
What's up?
Thanks for glad to be here, man. You good?
Yeah, thank you for having me. As you know, as we say at High Fashion Living, doing well, living well, and dressing really well, as always.
And you do that. You do that, man. I will give you that.
Yeah, Evan's always fresh, man. And, like every time I see him, whether it's wintertime, summer, snow, man, he always got something exclusive on, some hats, some loafers, man. Yeah. My man wear loafers to the beach, man. That's how fly he is. So
Evan is always dressed to the nine,
always.
Man. We've known this guy for a few years now. He's good people's. This guy's always plugged in the city of Chicago. If you want to get your fashion game on, this is the guy to know. So
absolutely,
we're very appreciative that you're here today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Evan, tell our fans a little bit about yourself. What you've been doing for High Fashion Living, just so that they can get an idea of who you are and how you've been instrumental within the fashion culture for Chicago.
Yeah, appreciate that. My role technically with High Fashion Living, I'm an editor-in-chief, one of the original co-founders. Started off back in towards the end of 2013 with High Fashion Men. My partner in crime, Ryan Styles, NYC, shout out to him, hit me up. It was basically like, I got a Instagram following, starting to go pretty big. I got all these brands reaching out with me, trying to pay me to advertise with them. And I need to kind of figure out how I can monetize it. I think I got a business here. Knowing that I originally come from a corporate retail background, he hit me up. Our other good former business partner, Dre, who now has Black Menswear, so got to plug him as well. Follow him on Instagram, Black Menswear. And basically we kind of collaborated together and kind of built this from the ground up. So going strictly from Instagram following, now we've kind of grown to, we have about 3 million followers across all social platforms.
3 million?
Yep. Across all platforms. You can follow us on Instagram at High Fashion Men, at High Fashion Living, Facebook at High Fashion Men, Twitter at High Fashion Men. Most importantly, visit us at highfashionliving.com. Essentially what we do now is we curate content for a lot of brands. We just wrapped up a deal with Trunk Club, which we'll be doing a guest bartender competition with them in August. So look out for that.
They're local too, right? Chicago?
Yeah, just wrapped up a deal with them. Got a couple of different things wrapped up now recently with Louis Vuitton. Also did a really cool thing called the Menfluential. Guest conference back in Atlanta in February. Was actually on there with a couple other Instagrammers and influencers, kind of teaching people how to build their social following and turn their social capital into actual capital. So
that's awesome, man.
That's amazing, man. Like I'm so happy for you. Like it's incredible. So just so we can kind of get an idea. I know that we've had topics, over texting about just like the fashion industry and how high fashion industry and how it correlates to hip hop. Give our fans a little bit of kind of background around kind of like how has that growth really kind of seeped in there and has been able to kind of become a mainstay.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. I believe today in 2017 it's at the forefront because A$AP Rocky's really been the first, I would say in my opinion, rapper to really break through and become accepted by the high fashion community. If you backtrack going back to the 80s, we pretty much needed to be brought in. So the first time you can look at that is Blondie. She obviously had the song Rapture. I'm pretty sure most people heard that. Mm-hmm. She says, Fab Five Freddy told me everything's fly, right?
Right.
And obviously she had Fab Five Freddy in the video. She had Basquiat in the DJ booth, and that was kind of her breakthrough, or hip-hop culture's breakthrough within to the music community.
Oh, wow. And that's John Michelle Basquiat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And a lot of people say, real quick cameo, when she's walking through, he's in the DJ booth, so if you ever want, next time you watch that video on YouTube, Blondie
I'm
Rapture, check it out.
All right, that's dope.
So that was kind of really the first foray between, because Blondie is considered a fashion icon. Then you really after that, it kind of really fast forward to the 90s. Then you had Tommy Hilfiger. Everybody know how that ended up with, Biggie and Diddy and Aaliyah saying he didn't want people of color wearing his clothes. So then obviously that kind of killed everything off.
Yep.
And then towards the turn of the 2000s, then you had the main thing with Kanye tried to break through with Pastel, didn't really work out. Jay-Z, tried to break through with Artful Dodger, didn't really work out. But you had these subculture brands like Sean John, Rockaware, they were doing really well. But obviously that still never really held within the same regard as
it's urban.
Yeah, it's urban.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing kind of fast forward to now is that, and obviously the main thing is Kanye tried to break through. He was literally at the door and not knocking, like pounding on the door, let me in. I did these internships. They don't rock with me. And I think one of the things, going back to A$AP Rocky, is valuable is that he doesn't try to be a designer. So like he basically lets his presence, his brand, his perfect overall style aesthetic, and when he walks into the room, people gravitate towards him. But he's also not here saying, "Let me do what you do," because I have this brand.
He does what he does.
Correct.
And why is he so obsessed with this? I feel like it's taking his music game down because he's so obsessed with the fashion world and trying to be accepted. And I feel like it's kind of hurt his music career, so to speak. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because then it comes down to, it's like, if you're going to be creative, you got to be creative in different mediums, right? So if you're an artist, you got to put your time in to owning and being specific within one individual craft. So now you can have multiple crafts, multiple art forms, and be successful in each of them, but you can't be the best. It's going back to the old point in terms of like reinvesting in what your strengths are rather than reinvesting what your weakness is.
Smart.
Oh,
that's very smart.
That's super dope. So for us, like, where do you see just like the high fashion really going for like minorities? Like will that breakthrough actually happen, or will it be someone who is a Kanye West, who is a A$AP, that finally gets in there and that can get that Italian Vogue cover or something? Or do you think it will be kind of like, an unknown, someone who is, someone who's kind of like blazing that pathway in the fashion world, and then eventually kind of rising up and being accepted? So who will kind of take that, who will take that baton and kind of run with it? Like, how do you see that happening?
I mean, that's a great question. I think what really kind of helps with that is the new emergence you've seen, or the reemergence, I should say, of black models, right? Okay. So obviously you go back to the 80s, you had Iman, you had Grace Jones, you had Naomi Campbell, and that's all you gotta really remember. Then in the 90s, that's when you finally had the black models coming. Tyson Beckford, Tyrese kind of came out there. So that's kind of where you had those kind of first guys. Then it kind of died off, right? You didn't really have that most popular black models. But now you have popular ones coming out, like Luka Sabit, even Ian Conor to an extent.
What does he do?
He's just all around creative, right? He's all around creative.
Okay, all right.
He's a muse. He's a muse. He's like the new Jordan Dunn, who we talked about earlier.
Yep, I heard Jordan.
So things like that. But so now you have these black models that are actually on the face. They're actually unrocking in one way. They're doing Vogue campaigns themselves. Like they'll be the feature of those. So they don't necessarily. So when you see that black face and you see that, you resonate elegance, you resonate luxury with those people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it kind of comes down to, rather than us saying, hey, transfer over to us, so we need to be like that. It's like, no, we are that already. Okay. So appreciate for who we are, and this is how I put my personal spin on it.
How do you see like fashion in Chicago? Obviously New York, LA, it's all huge. Where do you see the fashion game in Chicago in 2017?
Well, Chicago is its only unique thing, because Chicago actually is really big in streetwear. So for me, as we obviously with our thing with high fashion men, high fashion living, we do a lot of elevated casual wear. So like we might take, some pair of chinos, some boat shoes, like a bow tie with it, with a chambray shirt, rather than it necessarily being a suit. But Chicago's doing really good with a lot of the streetwear brands. Like, Dope Boy Magic, shout out to Joe Fresh Goods. Like, he's doing his thing.
Okay.
Sells out every collection. Excuse me. And I think that's kind of, obviously you have RSVP Gallery, you have Juggernaut, you have St. Alfred's, you have Leaders. Off the top of my head, that's four nationwide well-renowned boutiques that when people come to Chicago, they make sure they stop specifically at those boutiques to shop.
Okay.
And I think so. Chicago is just known now, like if you really want to be a streetwear, because in the day, read a home of Jordan, right? So it's like we do athleisure, we do athletic wear here. So Nike's here, from a sports standpoint. So that's kind of where we kind of focus from a fashion realm.
Okay, cool. So where does Chicago compare to LA, New York, when it comes to just being an incubator? Like, will we ever get to that number one spot? Do you see that happening with the community? Because we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of back and forth, some good, some bad, where, I've questioned, Chicago's creative community, but just from more of is there a potential to grow here, or do you have to eventually move to a New York, move to a LA? So is there a sustainability in living in Chicago, being able to grow the brand, and how does that compare to those other large cities?
That's a really good question. How I like to think about this, I kind of look at it from a creative standpoint. The best way to look at it from a practical standpoint of something that everybody understands would be the comedy community here in Chicago. Right. So if you look at it as if you're a stand-up comedian, if you do improv, you do sketch, people move to Chicago to build their platform.
Yeah.
You can get to the point here to where now if you're doing Second City, you're doing your own show, like you have a voice, you have a brand. You can go back and forth to LA to where you got to do commercials. You can go back and forth to New York every now and then to where you get a guest spot on shows. But you can build your launching pad to the point to where now you're making money. And then it gets to the point to where your career is now you then have to move to LA or to New York to actually be on auditioning for pilots or get your own recurring commercial gigs. So if you look at the majority of people, even if you look at like Saturday Night Live, like Chris Farley, Tina Fey, majority of people, all those, they came from Second City. So they did their thing, built the career here, then they went there to kind of take it to the next level. So I think Chicago works as a great creative launching pad. And to your point, I mean, it's growing right now. There's a lot of things such as Fort Knox Studios, 2112, 1871, the group Collective of Royal Beings, who you participated with. Shout out to Matthew and Courtney, what they're trying to do.
Good people.
In terms of really just what you're trying to build the infrastructure. And I think there is something going to be coming down the line, but you got to crawl before you can walk.
Absolutely. That's very enlightening. And, I appreciate you coming out here and giving everyone in the city and nationally some, thoughts and opinions on fashion in Chicago, fashion nationally. And as I mentioned, Evan's definitely the guy to know. He's definitely plugged in, and you keep your ear to the streets. And, we appreciate you coming on. Where can everyone find you?
Yes.
Plug your social media, all your sites, and how can they find you after this?
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram at High Fashion Men, at High Fashion Living. Those are both of ours. That's always a weird thing. People say that, but yeah, they're both of ours. Follow, like I said, like us on Facebook, High Fashion Men on Facebook, Twitter at High Fashion Men. You can also follow us or visit our website, highfashionliving.com. If you want to get any questions, feel free to hit me up. It's Evan at highfashionliving.com. My personal Instagram is at itswhatev.
Absolutely. And you think you're down to hang with us for the rest of the episode?
Yeah, I got a little time. We can do that.
Okay, yeah, we got some good topics, so we'll definitely dive into these shortly. But we'd love to have you on and get your thoughts and opinions. But before we do that, this portion of the podcast is sponsored by Green Wave Dispensary, downtown Lansing, Michigan, conveniently located on the corner of Oakland and Cedar. For all your cannabis products and more, check out our boys doing big things in Lansing. This dispensary is not in Illinois, Michigan folks only. Their website is greenwave.co. Again, that is greenwave.co. Shout out to Michael Mays, Kevin, Tom Mays. They're all good people. We'll have to get, Michael Mays back on the show here. He did one, a few episodes ago. And he's actually got a lot of good things coming up. I think he's going to New York soon for like the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. So, people we bring on the show, they're doing big things for their culture, for the industry. And, they mean big business out here. So all our guests, and for you too, Evan, we appreciate you coming on as well.
Yeah, one quick thing. I'll be in New York for Fashion Week Men's in the beginning of July.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you guys out there, hit me up.
All right, already.
For sure.
All right, awesome. So, Brian, you had a busy week. Like you say I'm all over the place. Nah, you've been all over the place. I know that you had a chance to hit up Spring Awakening last Friday. How was that? Is that still relevant? Is it still popping?
You would think not, but man, and I remember before, like a few episodes ago, I said how the EDM wave was dead. Boy, was I wrong. Man, it's Spring Awakening. I only went on Friday because I had a busy weekend with other plans, but I got to go one day, and the crowd there is electric. It's just good vibes, good people. It's not at Soldier Field any longer. I think it's like southwest of the city now. I think off of maybe like 18th Street or something like that. So a little hike to get to, but people still showed up in full force. The weather was great. Summertime Shy is, in full blast right now. The past few weeks, the weather's been absolutely awesome. It was like 90 degrees out. So, the vibe was good. Culture was good. Afrojack was the only negative part. I think he was like 30 minutes late, so his set was cut short. I remember I texted you about it. He wasn't even there, and they didn't think that he was going to come. But he showed up. He threw down for a good set. Galantis threw down for a good set. Marshmallow was there too. Armin Van Buren. Spring Awakening, I thought I was wrong with the EDM wave dying? It could be, but I mean, for that specific weekend, it was just great vibes in the city. And I saw people Snapchats, Instagram story for the rest of the weekend, and it looked like every single day from Saturday and Sunday just got busier and busier and more packed and packed. So it was good vibes. If you like that EDM wave, it sounds like, I think like EDC Vegas is this weekend. Ultra still as big as ever. So it sounds like that EDM wave is going absolutely nowhere. But I had a good time, with my peoples as well. Evan, you weren't there, were you? You didn't see it? You weren't out there for it?
Was not out there. So.
Nah. Is that your scene? I know you like that music a little bit, right?
Yeah, I used to be really big in that scene back in the day. I'm kind of more transitioned to selection, which is kind of like a mix between R&B and a higher level BPM. So
okay.
Shout out to Sango.
And Bobby, I know that's not your way. You can't handle a fest like that, could you?
No, but that's no matter what, that goes to show you that hip hop is still on the back burner.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. We'll see some Lollapalooza. But speaking of that, even last weekend, there's always street festivals here in Chicago every single weekend from now till Labor Day weekend. There's always a street fest. What street fest have you guys been to so far?
I would say the one that was popping is the Old Town Art Fest.
That was last weekend, right?
Yeah, that was last weekend. What more can you art? Drinking. They had like them those slushy pina colada drinks. It was like 95 degrees.
You had your umbrella?
Of course. You gotta have an umbrella and a cherry. That makes the drink. And it was just a good time. Just the vibe of the city, just seeing everybody out there, just mingling. It was such a good weekend, and that festival was so dope. So I just love Chicago. I feel like we're the only people who do stuff like that.
Yeah, are we the only city that has like street festivals every single weekend somewhere?
Man, other cities might have it, but they're not doing it like us.
Yeah, it's awesome. Which ones have you been to, Evan?
I did that. I did Do Division, which are probably my two favorite fests. And going back to what you guys are saying about Chicago, the reason I enjoyed the street fest is because Chicago gets a major knock of being very segregaed.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go to a street fest, it's a huge mix of just a melting pot of people, whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, LGBT community. Everybody's there at one time, and it's just a good vibe. So
for sure, that's a good point. I feel like it's like every single area of the city has a festival, and everyone comes out. No matter what race you are, it's good vibes. I've been in Do Division too as well. I think I went like one of the Saturdays that was there, and it was packed. There's people from front to back. It's only maybe a 3 or 4 block radius, but it's just all types of people, all types of culture. Each day they has like different type of music. You can get drinks, food. You can bring your pets if you want. It's just good vibes. And I don't know which ones are this weekend, but I think that's why it makes Chicago the best city in the world come summertime, because everywhere you go, it's just, always something to do. So if you haven't been to Chicago, you need to come here for the summer, at least for a weekend. Pick a weekend. It's always something going on. I would say that.
It's always popping.
For sure.
All right. So let's, since we're in Chicago here, we're on Chicago topics. McDonald's, the headquarters, I think they're moving here in next year, 2018, 2019. So. Don't fact check me. And and I know that they're bringing in 2,000 jobs to their corporate HQ here in the West Loop. That's huge for Chicago, just economy, just kind of driving more business. How do you guys see that impacting us in the future? It's McDonald's. It's a worldwide brand.
And they've been in Oak Brook for a while, right?
Oh, since I think their inception.
Definitely. That's just going to bring more jobs, more opportunities to the city. The West Loop is already growing. It's already popping. So just to add, a bigger venue like that, to add 2,000 more jobs, that's money that the city of Chicago absolutely needs. You know how much debt that we're in. So, from low level all the way to, high level employees, just to bring that revenue back to the city from Oak Brook, that's definitely a good look. I think it's huge for the city.
Facts. And what do you think, Evan?
No, yeah, I agree with both of what you guys are saying 100%. In fact, that they've already actually started bringing some of those jobs, being in the creative space. I know several people that work for an agency called We Are Unlimited, which entirely is a creative agency focused on advertising that McDonald's started as an on-field strictly to work on the McDonald's brand.
Really?
So I have several friends now that work there. Shout out to Chris. He's a graphic designer over there. And they literally all they work on is the McDonald's brand. They're already based in West Loop. And I know actually people, they were especially hiring minorities with the advertising space as well. So they are bringing a lot of good jobs to the city. And even in terms of just the talent in the city is going to increase, because if you're looking recruiting good talent, nobody wants to move to the suburbs when you get your first job.
Totally. I agree with that. That's the biggest thing. You made a great point. And a lot of clients, we work in, IT, and, they have McDonald's Corporation out there, but it's always in Oak Brook. The top level talent, from junior to mid-level candidates, the best ones, the current talent, they want to be downtown. Like, they don't want to go to Oak Brook. They don't want to go to Schaumburg. So now you bring in McDonald's down to corporate office in the West Loop. Everyone's going to want to work there. And they'll be able to update all their technology, brand new state-of-the-art facility. They'll have a lot of applicants. So like you said, that's just good news, bringing more money to the city of Chicago.
Absolutely. And then also they're building a new Inglewood High School for, I think it's $75 million, and it's merging 4 other schools at Robinson. So, what do you see this as an impact just for, that south side of Chicago area?
Absolutely needed. I think I was reading in one of these articles that it's the first new school that they built since the 1970s. That's crazy that it's 2017 and they haven't had any brand new schools on the south side of Chicago since the 1970s. It just shows that it's absolutely needed. So I think they're combining 4 schools into one. And they were saying 1 out of every 10 students or more than that in that area, they don't even go to Inglewood schools. They they travel all around just to go to a school in a different area. So just to be able to have those kids back in that school, state-of-the-art facility, actually may give them a reason to go to school. I don't live in that area. A lot of them may not go to school for various reasons. Now it may give them a reason to it. It may give hope and more money into that city, into that area. That's definitely needed.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Evan, do you see this from a game perspective? Do you see this having a negative outcome?
Yes, I do. That's a good question right there. I actually have a differing opinion in that. One of the things, I'm actually involved in several nonprofits here in the city. One of the things I recently did and wrapped up was mentoring with the Explorer program. The Explorer program basically works with kids from one of the schools that are being consolidated, Chicago Hope Academy. Chicago Hope was started as a college preparatory schools. It's not an art school per se, but it kind of gives students that are really a chance to interested in the arts. So what the Explorer program does is it works with kids that are specifically interested in photography.
Right.
So you come in, you meet with a professional photographer every Saturday. Explorer program provides you with a free camera, and then just really to kind of see how these kids grow and are really passionate for the arts. And the reason I say that might be negative is because with these 4 schools consolidating, a lot of these kids go to Hope specifically because they're in tune with these teachers that teach at Hope, because those teachers are in the creative arts, so they can relate to them and help fuel their passions. So now if you're consolidating those into one school, now you're going to be getting with teachers that might not have the same passion, same value, same level of connection with those kids at Hope. And I'm sure that with the other 3 schools they're consolidating, it could be the same way as well.
Do you think they'll pay them more to have better teachers that actually care about the kids and will actually take their time to invest in them? That's kind of what I'm hoping, with more money in the area, more opportunity, pay for better teachers, get better education, and that may not happen. What's your thoughts there?
Yes, the real reason because of that, because you can increase the quality when you're decreasing the quantity.
Ooh, yeah.
That's true.
For sure. And I was thinking maybe the gang violence, like you said. I'm glad you brought that up. Combining schools into one, different areas, they may not get along.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a science project, and there's research that does say that smaller class sizes promote better learning. So, I mean, who knows? You can probably make arguments for both, but regardless, the fact that they're investing any money into any schooling shows that there is a good sign.
I think so.
Yeah, and that is a good reason why we also, give 50% of our sponsorship proceeds to the CPS.
Absolutely. So, always giving back to the city of Chicago. We love our city here. Before we continue on, this portion of the podcast is sponsored by Green Wave Dispensary in downtown Lansing, conveniently located on the corner of Oakland and Cedar. For all your cannabis products and more, check out our boys doing big things. This dispensary is in Michigan folks only. Their website is greenwave.co. Again, that is greenwave.co. But this next topic, man, we need to get up on this list soon. Absolutely, is the Forbes list for 2017. Me and Bobby, and I think even Evan too, were looking the other day. They released their highest paid celebrities of 2017. And the list is crazy. The fact that I think it was the 100th person on the list even had over 30 million from this past year, which just goes to show there's a lot of money out here to get in this world.
Man, it's honestly, it makes me want to work harder just seeing these names, because a lot of these names are some of the same old people. So, and others, you're seeing new names. So for me, it's just giving me more inspiration that, if we trust the process, just keep staying humble, keep working hard. Hopefully one day, we'll all see ourselves up
We might,
there.
man.
You never know. You never know what'll happen with just faith and focus. But honestly, I was looking at the celebrity. Let me bring that up. The highest earning, Diddy, $130 million. Like, Diddy's,
How, man? Still.
Like how? So he was 22 last year, and he went up to number 1. That's a huge feat. So that must mean, him having just like that huge media platform, Revolt TV, and really being able to leverage that and become popular. I know I watch it, you watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends do. That's a testament to show you, man. Like having your own voice and being able to put your own people on.
That's huge.
You like a lot of people have gotten jobs because of this, which is
Definitely. I think a lot of people, I was reading some stats and said, obviously he's got his venture with Ciroc. It sounds like he sold a lot of his stake with Sean John this past year, so that made some added value. But Diddy's been doing this since the mid-'90s, and the fact that for highest paid celebrities, he's number 1 overall is crazy.
And then second is Beyonce.
Drake was up there at $94 million. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo, biggest probably athlete overall in the world. He was at $93 million at number 5. A big shocker, we both agree this was The Weeknd. Number 6 with $92 million. Man, has The Weeknd come up that much?
Man, the Weeknd is just that's his new name is Mr. Glow Up. Like he is just. I was shocked to see that, and I felt like it was yesterday that he was just like an unknown guy just singing the hooks on Drake's Take Care album. Well, Drake basically took The Weeknd's album and and it made it his, but that's another topic. And just to kind of see him just being able to carve out a space for himself and become his own boss, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, he's a true pop star now, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And it seems like it.
I bet Party Next Door is heated right now.
From Drake and The Weeknd in the top 10.
No, absolutely.
And he's like, man, they're in the top 10. I'm still mad dropping 4-song EPs that no one cares about.
Like no one cares about, man.
It was crazy that LeBron James was only number 10 with $86 million.
That won't last for long. Like LeBron, he's going to be the next billionaire athlete. Obviously Jordan's number 1, and LeBron, I think he'll probably be able to surpass him.
For sure. And what I saw in here, and I want to get Evan's thoughts on this, toward the bottom of the list, I think he's like 90-something. Chance the Rapper said $33 million. I don't know if that's truly accurate. Do you think he's got $33 million cash on hand?
Cash on hand, probably not. I doubt he has that. Liquid, no shade.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of them, he did just sign that deal with Apple. Obviously, he is about to go on tour right now and do arena. So, if you're doing his projected earnings through the end of 2017, I could definitely see him having around that 30 million plus number.
That's a bit. I didn't think I'd be surprised. I was surprised to see him on there. I don't know if was Kendrick Lamar on there. Did you see him at all?
Nah, I ain't see Kendrick.
I don't know if he's at that level yet.
He's not there yet.
Kendrick doesn't have the brand endorsements that Chance has.
He's too militant.
Yeah. What's he missing then for as much success he had with his album sales and all that? You think he'd be on there? I think I saw J. Cole on there at somewhere. He was on that list. Even though he's not, big on being on the public eye, he's still making a lot of money. He sells a lot of records too.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's a bigger factor that I saw a lot of, this hip hop mainstream names on here to show that, they are doing, crazy things right now, whether you want to believe it or not. I know you're not you say that hip hop isn't mainstream, but these stats and these numbers that Diddy's still on there proves it. Jay-Z was on there. 50 Cent was not on there, which is actually not surprising, but goes to show that he's had a lot of lawsuits the past couple years to where he's not even in the top 100 anymore. What happened to him?
No, 50, that's my guy, but he's washed right now. So I think for him, he just needs to just stop just getting into lawsuits, getting into legal problems, because we all know legal troubles will eat your money up because you're not only paying your legal fees, but then a lot of times you're paying the other person's legal fees, and he just needs to calm down, man, and just get focused again, and which he is, he has a show Power and all that, but
that's a dope show.
Yeah, but he just needs to keep on diversifying his portfolio and just really think like a businessman. Be more like Hove, like Jay, just move in silence, stop, poking at people, and just keep doing you. So, that goes to show you when you're not humble, you'll fall from grace really quickly.
Yeah, this guy's way too cocky, man.
Yeah, way too cocky. But you still my guy, 50.
For sure.
Yeah, and then also the XXL Freshman cover. 2017, they just dropped it last night. What are you guys' thoughts on the new generation of young kids?
For our brief background before we get into that, for our fans who may or may not be up on, I'm sure most of you are.
Yeah, please.
The XXL Freshman cover is a big hip hop list that Double XL does every single year. It's almost like the freshman list of the next year is like who is the next coming up to blow, already have blown up, whether it be social media, through their catalog, through touring, through some of their independent sales, or just being signed to a major label. So each and every single year, I think since 2017, so this is like the 10th anniversary edition of upcoming rappers. And I was looking at a lot of the lists, and I was like, man, am I getting washed? Am I getting old? Because I didn't know a lot of those names on the list. I know, what's his XXX Tinashe? I know he's got like a lot of popular talking songs right now. Evan, you're probably more up on this than we are, man.
Evan's definitely on the new school.
Yeah, for sure. Who do you like on the list? Who do you really think has a chance to blow from this list?
I mean, Cardi's probably the hottest one right now, based on where in terms of like obviously we talked about it earlier. Magnolia probably is one of the hood smashes right now, coming on currently in the summer. P&B Rock's popular. Obviously everybody knows Maiden. Obviously he had Uber Everywhere, so that's how everybody was really rocking with that joint really heavy. So
Made in Tokyo, whatever his name is, I think it is. Okay.
So those are probably the hottest one right now. The one thing, if you really look at it though, is how diverse it is. They got Bay Area, Bronx, Philly, Tokyo, Atlanta, Portland, another Atlanta, Ventura, Houston. Like that's a very diverse, even for spots that you never heard of. Like when have you ever heard of a rapper being from Portland?
Never. I didn't even know they rapped in Portland.
Right?
I didn't even know they rapped in Portland.
Right. So like I think that's kind of cool that they actually kind of people that's the value of the internet. If you might not be a spot like Chicago or Houston or Atlanta, that you can still get hot.
Why is there no Chicago in there? Anybody got thoughts on that?
Because I think Chicago drill music is dead.
It is dead. I think it's over.
It's over. It's done.
I think it is over. And I'm like, who current that hasn't been on the list yet? Last year was G Herbo. He was on there, but he was already at the end of the drill music scene. But you would know Evan better than us. I mean, there's got to be some Chicago rapper that could have made the list or should be on it soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of dudes coming out right now. You got my favorite Smino. He's actually originally from St. Louis, but he lives here right now. Shout out to Smino.
He reps Shy?
Yeah, he reps the Midwest through and through.
Midwest, okay.
Shout out to Saga. I'm sure y'all heard Saga.
I have.
West Saga. He was obviously rock with Chance with Heavy. Malcolm London. Also came to a lot of those guys. Also kind of those guys are really good because they know how to write really strong music. It's not just about banging beats and getting drunk in the club. They actually take the time to put together quality projects.
Right.
Which is even though while they have solid followings, they might not be necessarily on the freshman list.
Okay.
Also, from a female standpoint, shout out to Raven Lene. That's the homie. She's dope too. Check her out.
She's singer, rapper.
Both.
Oh,
cool.
Okay, I have to check her out.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think of those lists. I think in the Playboy Cardi has. He seems to be the one poised to blow the most. But there was a lot of people that weren't on that list that we don't have to get into. And maybe for any various reason, they chose not to.
Yeah.
Or it's not like they weren't picked. Maybe just think that the list isn't that worth it anymore.
Yeah, I'll give the Playboy guy some play.
Yeah, he's kind of dope. I would
no
give him
pun
that.
intended.
For sure. And what we just saw today, before we get into a couple other topics, before we wrap up, that the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight was signed for August 26th. It's official. Easiest payday that I'll say Floyd Mayweather's ever going to have. If no boxer could ever beat him, Conor McGregor's totally doing this just to get a paycheck, because I'll say this on wax right now, zero chance he wins. It's just not going to happen.
We don't typically agree a lot in sports, but zero chance Conor lasts. I don't think he lasts more than four or 5 rounds with Floyd.
Even if he doesn't knock him out, he's just going to win on points alone. No, you can't hit him.
No, that might be Floyd's first knockout in a long time.
Like, he might try to, bite him or, tackle him or something, turn into you. He's not even a boxer.
No, he's going to try to, grapple, so probably he's going to hit some wrestling moves, he going to try to catch him with the tombstone, the pedigree.
Pile drive. He'll probably put him in, a chokehold or something like that. Put him in a sharpshooter or something.
They're going to end up breaking up the boxing match, and Floyd's going to get his huge payday. My biggest thing is, in terms of economics, how much will this bring?
I think he said he might get $100 million just off just from signing this alone.
Who?
Floyd just alone is over $100 million.
Wow.
I could be wrong. We're not good at fact checking right now, but just they said it won't be as high as the Pacquiao fight.
It won't.
But no, they said it may projections might just go just under. But even still, for 2017, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. He could blow all his money now and just know he has $100 million payday coming.
That's at minimum. That's not even when the gate comes in. Pay-per-view buys and everything else. For someone who wants to, put it all on the line and take a big risk, put your money on Conor McGregor. For some hook or crook, he can, cause an upset and win. You're gonna be rich. You're gonna be quit your job type rich.
Evan, who you got?
Quick question. Side note, where was Floyd on the Forbes list? Was he not on there because he didn't technically work this year?
You know what? I don't remember seeing his name. That's a good point.
Yeah, I was going through it. I don't recall seeing his name. There's no way he does not have more money than probably half the people on there.
No, yeah, I think they did it from like the money he pulled in, and he definitely pulled like no bread. I don't think so.
I don't think he has to, because what endorsements does he have, on a year-to-year basis to keep that money going? I mean, does he really even need it? I mean, he makes like 1 or 2 fights every couple years. It makes all that money. He sits on it.
No, he's good. He's chilling. So like, I don't think he's crying about not being on the Forbes list. He'll be on it next year. Because he's going to make over $100 million off this fight. So for athletes, he'll be back up there at
Evan, do you think Conor can actually pull the upset? Any chance he wins this?
No chance. I mean, a lot of people forget about boxing. Boxers train to get hit. Where like if you MMA, you don't train to get hit. You train to get out of grapple moves. So to your point about even though Floyd doesn't have the strongest hands, like Conor McGregor's not used to being in a fight for 10 to 12 rounds, getting hit 200, 300 times in the face. That's what happens in a boxing match. Like UFC, you might get hit probably 10, 15 times, and then you just grappling for the most, or wrestling, as Bob likes to say.
Wrestling? No, he did say wrestling. Man, was just like the 1980s. That's called wrestling, man. You heard WWE, this guy called wrestling.
If you're from the South, you got to say wrestling.
Yeah, I don't think he has any chance. I'm surprised he even let this fight happen. There's some rules to this. Like, don't you got to be a trained professional boxer to get a fight of this magnitude, or is it money talks?
Yeah, I honestly, man, I feel, man, rest in peace to Conor McGregor, man. He's going to get his butt whipped big time. Like this is going to be embarrassing. And the funny thing is, I kind of feel like I don't want to get suckered into paying for the pay-per-view.
I'm watching.
But it's going to be a very short one. I'm gonna have to like meet up with some friends and just go half, like not even go half, like go like a 1/6 of the pay-per-view amount or something.
Right.
It's going to be a quick.
It's going to be $50-$60 plus tax.
Yeah. Facts.
When it's all said and done.
Absolutely.
But before we get to the clown of the week, we got to hit on this Addison Russell topic. I think it was maybe a week or so ago now.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell me a little more about that, B.
So something happened where Addison Russell, like his wife or girlfriend, don't fact check me. I think the friend came out recently and said that actually his wife posted an Instagram post that said she's free of, I think she was like, I'm no more being cheated on or mentally abused, et cetera, et cetera. And essentially, she accused him of domestic violence, which is, that's no excuse for that whatsoever. We don't condone that. So, Addison, he's supposed to be one of the leaders in that Cubs, locker room, clubhouse. And I just think that it's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for the Cubs, especially because, they're playing at .500 baseball right now. So on top of having something negative looming over the locker room is just all around bad. And the MLB, they don't play around when it comes to the domestic violence. They've been cracking down on that. You saw what happened to, I think it was the Chapman last year. I think he was out for 30.
Yeah, they sat him down.
50 games, whatever the case may be. So, if it's true, which, some women do lie, but in these cases, someone you've been around with for so long, why would you? I'm just going to err on and just kind of, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think that they need to investigate this. And if he did it, he shouldn't be playing baseball.
Like what Charlemagne always says, you're guilty until proven innocent on cases like these.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Sound like you're saying again that he's guilty.
Man, I'm telling you,
you've done this before on air. You call people guilty very quickly without knowing the facts.
I mean, I
don't know about that.
No, I get what you're saying, but for me, it's just there have been cases where women have lied and they've done it for attention or whatever the case may be, but I just don't see why in this case his wife of all those years kind of what is she getting out of this? If they have kids, why is she going to put her kids through this? So I think for me, I just play off of where there's smoke, there's fire, and something is happening there. And honestly, you'll be surprised how many of the good guys, especially athletes, when you meet them or them, that they're not really good. What the saying is, don't ever meet your idols.
Yeah, for sure. They'll turn to your rivals, man. You just don't like them.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, man. It's sad all around, and I hope they investigate it, and I hope he is innocent. But as you know, public perception, he's going to be guilty.
Yeah, and he is back in the lineup.
Until proven
He
innocent.
hasn't been playing well this year. I think as of like a week ago, he was hitting like 210, having an abysmal start to the season. So maybe something that has been going on to where he hasn't been focused. The cheating story, he does play for the Cubs. He is a World Series champion. Chicago, there's beautiful women all over the city. I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know. He could, maybe or may not happen, but I won't get into that part of it. But the domestic abuse, we got to err on the side of caution there. He is back in the lineup, so maybe the Cubs did some investigating and found out there was nothing wrong. So he is back in the lineup.
Yeah.
The bigger story, if you ever notice, the Cubs paint him in such like a good light.
Yeah.
Like he's always in the media, like he's a happy-go-lucky, great team player, always smiling in front of the camera. So they've always positioned him to be such a good guy that if it comes out that he was really doing this, that's going to be a huge strain on the team. They hadn't been playing good. I think they have the past couple of games, but Cubs need to get focused because they have been playing around 500 ball and hasn't been going well. Maybe it's a hangover of the World Series, but this isn't going to help them at all. What do you think about that, Evan?
I agree. It's just a tough situation. I think I pretty much agree with everybody says. With modern day social media and given just how the perception of just, I guess, masculinity was femininity, it is going to be guilty until proven innocent in this situation. So if she was abused, I hope she can do what she needs to do internally to get better. Glad that she's able to actually be free. And even from his standpoint, hopefully he can kind of learn from his experiences as well.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I hope it's not a true story. I'm sure there's gonna be more to come out from it, and maybe it could just be the friend hating. Like maybe he did have a couple slip ups. Maybe he was cheating, and she went on Instagram or whatever it was and started, hey, how some women can be. Sometimes.
At the end of the day, man, like he smiles too much, and I don't really trust anyone that smiles all the time, man. That's my rule number one.
Did you tell him to stop smiling?
Yeah, stop smiling. Be angry sometimes. It's healthy.
He need to play some better baseball, man. He's actually been playing too well. And to be such a poor position, they really need him for the Cubs to repeat. They got a lot of work to do, but we got some faith in our team. And it's still early in the season.
Exactly. We'll see how things unfold.
For sure. So before we get to the Clown of the Week, our favorite segment of the show, one final time, this portion of the podcast is sponsored by Green Wave Dispensary in downtown Lansing, conveniently located on the corner of Oakland and Cedar. For all your cannabis products and more, check out our boys doing big things in Lansing. This dispensary is not in Illinois, Michigan folks only. Their website is greenwave.co. Again, that is greenwave.co. Once again, our boy Michael Mays will be in New York this Monday winning some Entrepreneur of the Year award. So make sure you check them out. They're doing great things right now. Absolutely. So our favorite segment of the week, Clown of the Week. We've had some good ones this past one. I think we got a couple good ones tonight. You want to go first, B, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'm going to go first. So my Clown of the Week goes to Tinashe. I think she's like some R&B, woman signed to like RCA or something, and she's basically complaining about. She's basically telling people that she's not relevant, she's not popping because of her being of mixed race, mixed descent, and only Beyonce and Rihanna are the only light skinned women who are prospering out there in terms of R&B acts, and I just think that that's ridiculous to say. I think, if anything, dark-skinned women in our society, dark-skinned people, tend to get the bad rap. We poke fun at it. We think it's funny, when in reality it isn't. So I think her, she just has a skewed view of that. And to be honest, she's just not working hard enough. I was trying to Google her, look up how many songs she had. I think she had one or two. So how about Beyonce and Rihanna? They put in the work. In even like the second, third tier, R&B performers, who are women, they're still cashing checks. Solange is doing good. SZA just came out with the album. That album's phenomenal.
K. Michelle's eating.
Yeah, and K. Michelle, yeah. So it's just like, everyone's on their own lane. They're doing their thing. They're touring. And I think she's making an excuse up of using colorism in order to mask the fact that she's lazy. And why would anyone put money in someone who barely has dropped any music? So for me, she's a clown for that. I'm not going to check out any of her music. I don't think anyone else will be checking out any of her music. And I think that, she gets a big she gets a big, clown of the week for that. Like she's She sucks. So
That's bad. She sucks for that.
Yeah, man. She just sucks for that, man. Just like don't make excuses. Don't bring in colorism. You're not plugged into the culture if you're using that as an excuse, as a crutch to why you aren't successful. And you're light skinned. You have it easy. Trust me.
She should. And I think I only know what one or two of her songs. Was it that 2-1 song she's had was hot, a couple years ago? Do you listen to her, Evan?
Man, I don't know nothing.
Nah.
Nah, you're not a Tinashe fan at all?
Nah.
I would say she's pretty. I think she should use that to her advantage.
She's pretty, but but like when you say things like that, you become ugly in my eyes, and she's a cornball.
Yeah.
So yes, you get the clown of the week, Tinashe. If you're listening to this, you're not a friend of the show.
She may hear it one day. And I think she should just not use that, as a crutch. No, work harder. If she can sing, obviously she's signed. She had a couple hot songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's just using that as an excuse.
It's nuts. It's crazy. Next.
My clown of the week. And man, I used to like this guy. I know I saw Evan. I think he posted the other day. You told him, you said he's like a loser or something like that. For this, this guy is terrible. Man, our guy Derrick Fisher, formerly of the LA Lakers, and I used to always be a Laker guy. You know me, B. I used to love me some Lakers.
Yeah.
I'm a Kobe guy. They used to win championship after championship. Derrick Fisher used to be a point guard on the team. He ended up retiring. He was a coach in the New York Knicks. Long story short, Matt Barnes, one of the resident goons of the NBA, he actually just got traded to Golden State and somehow lucked into an NBA championship when he didn't even play. So now he's considered an NBA champion. So good for him, Matt Barnes. Regardless, what happened, there's a rite of passage in the NBA. It's a teammates thing. It's just a culture thing. It's a fraternity. If you have a wife, a girlfriend, they're always off limits. You just don't mess with them. Derrick Fisher, I guess, Matt Barnes and his wife at the time, Gloria, used to be on Basketball Wives. They ended up separating or what. Somewhere behind the scenes, Derrick Fisher ended up with her. This is like a couple years back. Long story short, Matt Barnes, like I said, the goon of the NBA, ended up finding out one night after, a spring training practice, drove 95 miles, caught Derrick Fisher there, basically just beat him up for it. He did what any man would do because, they got 2 kids together. He's in the house with those kids. It's a fraternity, right? So he ended up beating him up for that, so on and so forth. Time went on. Derrick Fisher was the coach of the Knicks at that time. They were terrible. Ended up getting fired of February 2016. He has not gotten a job since then. So who knows what happens? Maybe things in his life have just been unraveling. They're still together to this day. But what happened this past, I think Sunday was like 3 a.m. in LA. He was arrested on suspicion of DUI for crashing their truck that they had with him and Gloria in the car. 3 a.m., flipped it over, got arrested. No one was hurt, thank God. But what they found out was in the name of Matt Barnes, who actually had the truck for Gloria for their 2 children. And this story is just messy. This story is just gross. Derrick Fisher, what are you doing? You made a lot of money in the NBA. Why are you even driving his car? Why are you even with her still, to this day? It just shows that you have no character at all as a person. I used to really like you, but I think we lost a lot of respect from you. I think for that reason, you haven't even gotten another job in the NBA, not even as an assistant, because I think everyone just doesn't trust you anymore as a person. And there's a big fraternity in the NBA to where if you don't stick together, we don't have any love for you. So for that reason, you get the clown of the week. I think your life is unraveling. You need to sit down and have a reality check. We either got a guy Kobe out there and go have a lecture with him because something's not right. No. And for that reason, Derrick Fisher, whatever happened to you, but for now, you get the clown of the week, man.
Stay away from the Golden sisters. They're crazy.
They are crazy. And I don't know what's going on with them, but it's a mess. And now that, Matt Barnes got his NBA title, it's summertime. He's going to meet up with him. That guy has no filter. It's not over.
No, he's coming out for blood. Like, you saw it in his eyes. He's trying to be politically correct, trying to, have his kids out there during, when they won the finals.
He mad on the inside. I don't even think he was that happy that he won the NBA championship because, deep down, he's still fuming over that situation.
Yeah. Oh, he's going out for blood, man. Evan, I know that's your man's right there.
He loves light-skinned cats out there, bro.
Yeah. I'm Team Matt Barnes in this situation all day, but you also got to look at it as like Gloria, man. It's like you just putting your whole family, not even you, through an awkward situation, right?
Yeah, that's bad. And she was a basketball wife. She did a reality thing. She's out for that messy.
Yeah, so she loves it. I think they're probably trying to pitch that show right now.
Yeah,
just her and her family.
100%.
Oh yeah, they might need to catch that check. And now with all these charges, Derrick Fisher gonna need that money because he's not getting back in the NBA anytime soon.
Wow, yeah.
If you think about it,
I think he's done.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah,
No team's gonna mess with that.
Yeah,
he flopped.
It's over.
If you can't get an assistant coach's job, no one wants you. Not even the Lakers gonna bring him back.
No, definitely not. And he's not getting a job with OKC. I think he ended his career there, and yeah, he's done. So
For sure. Well, this was an awesome episode. We appreciate you coming on, Evan. That was a great talk on the fashion industry as well, too.
That's my guy.
Yeah, definitely. So, B, plug our sites, your social media. Where can they find us right now?
Okay, so for Instagram, you can find us at, our Instagram tag is Alternative Facts Chicago. For Twitter, we're AFacts Chicago. On Facebook, find us at Alternative Facts Chicago, and then look us up on our when you're looking up the podcast in the iTunes section of podcasts. Look us up, Alternative Facts Chicago.
Still top 200 rankings, by the way.
Still top 200.
Don't sleep on us.
Yeah, I know we're going to get back in the top 50 again.
Oh yeah, it's coming sometime soon.
Yeah, that's the goal. And then also, if you want to email us with any questions, any sponsorships, please email us at alternativefactschicago@gmail.com.
For sure. We got a lot of big things coming. We might be doing another radio show here soon.
Yep.
Some more details to come on that. As we mentioned, the NBC Sports Radio interview will be posted live on our YouTube this upcoming Friday. Before we get out of here, Evan, if you want to, plug your social media sites again, and where can everyone find you?
Yeah, thank you. Once again, follow us on Instagram at High Fashion Men, at High Fashion Living. Visit us, highfashionliving.com.
Appreciate that.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for the support. And we'll be back soon with episode 9.
Episode 8's in the books. We're out of here.
Peace.